All right. Welcome to today's class. Thank you for joining. So far we've looked at Microsoft Entra ID, how to secure Microsoft Entra users, how to create users in Entra ID, also for groups, different groups, recommendation for external identities. So we started discussion on how to secure external identities yesterday, basically. So we'll pick it up from there today. Yeah, so we're able to differentiate between the B2B Direct Connect and Azure Active Directory. That's Microsoft try the B2C. Then a bit of an introduction to what Entra Entitlement Management is yesterday. Then for Microsoft on Graph API for B2B collaboration also. So two things I wanted to mention before we'll go into today's topic, which I think I've mentioned before, conditional access, right? Which actually helps organization to, you're enforcing conditional access for external B2B collaboration as well as the B2B direct connect users, basically the same way that you are enabling for your full-time employee and the member of your organization. Meaning that for Microsoft Entra, for cross-tenant scenario, if your conditional access policies requires a multi-factor authentication or a device compliance, you can now trust MFA and device compliance claim for the external users home organizations. Meaning when trust settings is enabled during authentication, Microsoft Entra ID checks the user credentials for FMA and MFA claims or device ID to determine if the policies are basically met. So by the time we discuss conditional access, we'll be able to see that fully. Then for multi-tenant applications, right? Meaning if your organizations has more than one instance of Microsoft Entra ID, there are various reasons for multi-tenancy. For example, your organizations might span multiple cloud or geographical boundaries. You have organizations, you have different branch offices across different regions, right? So for multi-tenant organization, you actually use a one-way synchronization service in Microsoft Entra ID called the cross-tenant synchronization, which enables seamless collaboration for multi-tenant organizations. It improves user experience and ensures that users can access resources without receiving an invitation or having to accept a consent from each tenant. So that's something you also need to take note of the multi-tenant organization, right? Yeah. So let's start today's work. Today's work, we're focusing on Microsoft Entra ID protection.
Okay.
Microsoft Entra ID protection. Now, when we talk about Microsoft Entra identity protection, what are we actually talking about in essence? For Microsoft Entra ID protection, basically, it helps organizations to detect, investigate, and remediate identity-based risk. So when
Identity-based risk.
so when there are some breaks that are focused on identity, maybe a user has been compromised or something like that, right?
Mm.
What is doing the work is actually the Microsoft Entra ID identity protection. So for the identity-based risks, you can actually feed them into the conditional access, right, to make access decision or make a feedback to security information and event management for further investigation. So that means you can actually integrate the Microsoft Entra ID protection to the Microsoft Sentinel, which the SOC guys uses majorly,
Mhm.
right? Now for in general, for identity protection, if you look at this dashboard now, you're able to see how many number of attacks are blocked. It shows you the number of users protected, shows you the mean time to remediate high risk users, and we have number of any high risk users. So how it works generally, right? There is a kind of auto generated talking about high quality base detections when you detect from other first parties. So here we hear about things around risky users, risky signing. We begin to talk look into those further. Generally now, for Microsoft Entra Identity Protection, it helps to detect risks, meaning that Microsoft as an organization, they continually add and update detections in their catalog to protect organizations. And these detections comes from learnings based on the analysis of trillions of signals each day from the Active Directory, from Microsoft accounts, or even from gaming with Xbox. So Microsoft is leveraging on all those their technology from the AD, from the personal accounts, as well as even the accounts you use in gaming for the Xbox, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the range of signals helps identity protections, right, to detect risky behaviors. And when you're talking about risky behaviors, they are about in three categories. Talking about anonymous IP address. Now, if you use a Tor browser, for example, I'm not sure if I still have it. I still have it. Okay, if I go to Tor browser, for example, now, and Tor browser is one of the browser that is secure to
Mm-hmm.
basically, let's say I now want to sign into portal.azure.com.
That is on Tor browser, right?
Yeah, on Tor browser. Yeah. Now, with the help of this Tor browser, for example, now, one of
Mm-hmm.
the things that it protects for you is the IP address usage. So most of the time, it makes you to protect your IP, where IP is coming from, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's and it takes a while to load because of what it's trying to do from the backend. Then it helps also detect risky behavior like talk about the password spray attacks. Then also a leak credential. Let me just say office.com to get the same experience. Okay, so during each signing, identity protection actually runs a kind of a real-time signing detection, generating a signing section risk level, right? Indicating how likely a signing has been compromised based on the risk level. Then policies are then applied to protect the users and the organization. So if you're going to sign into this, let me sign into an account. I think I remember the credential. Sign in to authentication. To see if this is going to bring out system two. Say no. Okay, signing there. Let me go to
The Tor browser, did you download it on your
yeah, yeah,
listing?
yeah.
Okay.
Just search Tor browser on your any of your other browser. You download and install.
Okay.
Yeah, just like Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. Yeah.
Okay.
So it helps you to max your IP basically, right? It looks as though you're signing in from a different location from the location
Location.
that you're supposed to be signing from. So
Okay.
normally the signing I have here is going to register the signing for me with my normal location, my normal IP, right? But the
Mm-hmm.
moment I open the Tor browser now, the location is going to change. The IP is going to change. It might just assume that maybe I'm signing in from a location like the Netherlands or
Okay.
Caribbean, different locations. So most of the times, the identity protection needs to it to detect that kind of an is an anonymous anomaly, right? In terms of
Okay.
there's no IP assigned to my signing from this Tor browser, right? So
Okay.
it's an
Yeah.
anonymous IP usage, right? So
Okay.
there's
Yeah.
there's going to be a password free attack also. It also detect that thing. If there's a kind of a leak credential also, it also help detect that. Then apart from detect, it also helps to do a kind of investigation, meaning that any risk that is detected on identity they are
Mm-hmm.
tracked with reporting, right? That means identity protection provide three key reports for administrators to investigate the risks and also take actions. And those reports are risky detection, risky signing, and as well as risky users. For risky detection, each risk is detected and reported as a risky detection. Then for risky signing is reported when there are one or more risk detection that are reported for that particular signing. Now, if I close this browser and try to open it again, then try to sign in again so as it's detecting those signing is going to take note. Okay, something is actually definitely wrong here. This user is normally used to sign in for this location. How come the user is signing in from a different location?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to sign in again. Connect. It's on this is going to pull up something up for us. Try and use it to work. Okay, signing in again. So for risky signing, like I mentioned, is reported when there are one or more risks detected, right? And the more when those things are detected, right, they are basically reported for that particular signing the same account again. So if a condition access has been configured, right, to block signing for a particular location,
Yeah.
so maybe IP, automatically it's not going to allow that signing. But because that has not been configured, and what
Okay.
happened is that it will allow the signing.
Okay.
However, it's going to report that this signing is risky.
Okay. Okay.
Then a risky user is reported when either or both of the following are true. User has one or more risky signings, or one or more risky detection has been reported. So like as I'm signing, I'm signing like I'm trying to sign in twice now from an
Mm-hmm.
anonymous IP, right? So when one or more of risky detection is detected or risky signing, automatically this user account I'm trying to sign in will be reported as a risky user.
User.
Is
Okay.
basically. I don't know why authentication is not coming into my phone. Let me send another one again. So for in terms of remediations, it can be an automatic remediations, right? In which a risk-based conditional access policies can be enabled to require access control, such as you need to provide a stronger authentication method. Maybe that's why it's happening that I'm not getting authentication from my app, or to perform a multi-factor authentication or perform a secure password reset based on the detected risk level. Or if the user has successfully completed the access control, the risk is automatically remediated. It's strange that authentication is not coming in. Why for manual? So when user remediation is not enabled, what an administrator needs to do is to manually review them in the report and from the portal. either using the Microsoft 365 Defender, then you can perform a manual actions to dismiss or confirm save or confirm compromise of the race, basically. So I don't know why I'm not getting notification for this. So let me go back. So for this, so like I mentioned, the dashboard basically give you an overview of what is happening for all the signings. So you get like a kind of an overview that okay, like now during this time there were some. If I click on view attacks here, so it's, you
The
can
share
see now
from.
it's showing. So this user was the same user I was trying to sign
Okay.
in today.
Okay.
So it's telling me
But
that
it says remediated.
it's remediated because probably that's why it's not providing authentication for me to sign in. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's not providing. So like this, you mentioned yeah. I think that's when I was able to sign in successfully, right? But the rest it didn't allow to sign into the system. So you'll be able
Is
to
it not
see
the
different risks.
history?
Sorry?
I'm assuming is it not the history? Because maybe it has seen that you sign on a number of occasions. That's why it lowered the risks to maybe medium from high.
Yes. Yes. I performed the first time I was able to go in before and
Mm,
now shut down this, and it's not even bringing authentication for me again.
authentication. Mm,
It's not bringing. That's strange that it's not bringing, right? So that gives you the dashboard just give you okay, this is particular user. So as an admin, see, it's giving you different locations. So maybe this is I don't know this country. I know this is Netherlands. So it's giving different country. I think D should be
is it
Germany
Denmark?
or Denmark or so. Yeah. So it's trying to because of the Tor browser I'm using to sign
Mm.
in now with that particular user. So if
Will it
any
show the IP address as well?
let me see. Look at what it's giving as an actual look at what it's giving as an IP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it doesn't really make sense. So that's why it's calling it an anonymous IP. What is
Anonymous
detecting
IP. Okay.
is an anonymous IP, basically. So
Mhm,
the risk
mhm.
level and the request ID is there. Then the detection time, it also provide that for you. So if you want to go into it, right, you can see the user risky reports. You can see the user signing report, user risky signing, then the link risky signing. You're able to see. So this is
Mhm.
what so what's detected. Then it said it was remediated, medium, then risk detail, user passed multi-factor authentication, the type of attack, so there is of
But it is the last one that is saying user pass multi-factor authentication. The last time it didn't give you this thing now
he didn't
login token.
he didn't give me. So I'm surprised it's telling me, okay, this was not the time. I think it was reporting that particular one that I did. It does not report the one I did after. So we check the time. The time is 6:23 here. Why this is peaking at 6:14. So everything it picks here is between 1 minute. The first time I came in,
Okay.
that's the first time I came in there. Let me go back again so we can look into it here. So the time, the token issuer type. So it says it's an Entra ID. Make sure Entra ID. Then the IP address doesn't make sense. The location, the signing claims is telling me is a Mozilla Gecko. So because it's not even because of this particular client I'm using, the signing
Mm.
request and correlation. If I go to users risk report, for example, now. So it brings for that particular user. So the user is actually a global admin, and this is the username, the user ID. So it tells okay, risky set. This user is at risk, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, it give me different option. Okay, this user you need to reset user's password, or confirm user is compromised, or you can confirm user is safe or dismiss user reads, or you can altogether block users. So you're able to see other things. So if you need to investigate it, you click on this, it takes you to the Microsoft Defender portal. So under incident alerts in the Microsoft Defender portal, it takes you there basically. So you'll be able to see more details if you want to do further investigation. Waiting for this to load. right? So he said
Do
this
you
is new.
use these Entra ID protection in your environment, like on a daily basis or something, or maybe periodically? Or is
Usually,
that
this is actually used by the SOC team. So if you're part of
something?
the SOC team, yeah. So it's one of the portal you'll be using. You use
Mm,
this, you use Sentinel, and you use the Defender portal to do your investigation, basically,
mhm. Yeah.
right? So
Mm,
it gives the overview, right, of the incidents for these particular users. Alert is I. If you go here to view it, let me come down here. Okay, so the same information basically. If you go to incident and alert here, so it's going to populate something around it. Press this. Let's populate this. Except it has not been reported here already. We got incident and alert here. Incidents has been reported. That's anonymous IP. Okay, it's under alert here. So you can see details. What's detected it. So it's Microsoft Entra ID protection, right? When was it generated? So the time it was generated, the first time, the last activity. So it gives you details. If you go down, you see the incident, anonymous IP involving one user. So it shows that one user. So here, the SOC team will be able to do further investigation.
investigation.
So if you want to, so these are SOC work. You want to investigate further, just click on that to be able to do to be sure. So if you need to classify this particular one, you can set a classification. Yeah. Okay, this is new. Is it assigned? So any member of the team you want to assign into, you can assign it in terms of classification. It has to do with malicious user activity. So you can set it there, you can put your comment here and set there. So whoever is assigned to the SOC member we know that okay, this alert I need to investigate. So the person will do the work basically. So they work together with Defender, that security portal, Microsoft Defender
Mhm.
XDR, everything. Then also another thing that can also be done is that any data that we gather from here, any data that is gathered from identity protection can actually be exported to other tools for archive. Because if you come under, if I still go to view alert here, have the option to download it, right? So you can download a CSV or a JSON file, put the file in, then download this. So once it's downloaded, I can archive it, right? Or
Mm,
I can do a further investigation and correlation. That's where the SOC teams come in. And for the Microsoft Graph Base API, allowed to collect this data to further, so you can put it in tools such as the SIEM, Microsoft Sentinel, right? Right.
mhm.
So information about how to access it is always available for Microsoft. So we can also integrate the identity protection also with the Microsoft Sentinel by connecting data from identity protection to it. And also, some organizations, what they do is that they store the data for a longer period by changing the diagnostic settings in the Microsoft Entra ID, and they can choose to either send the data to a log analytic workspace, archive the data to a storage account, like I mentioned, or stream data to an event or send that to other solutions, right? So
Okay.
depending on what they can do with the data.
Okay.
So these are
Or the
things they can do with
retention
it.
policy of the organization.
Yeah. So just like this, can you check the risky policy impact analysis? So for now, I don't have Microsoft Entra ID enabled to send logs to analytic logs, right? So that's one of things you
Okay.
can do, but I don't have it on here. Then under the
Mm,
protection, right? Under protect, So you have like conditional access policy. Again, the conditional access policy that is set for this, right, is affecting, so wherever you are, identity protection. Just like the conditional access that we discussed yesterday for the entire organization, for application, right? So for this now, this is for the identity protection. So anything, any policy that is related to identity protection is what you'll be able to set here, basically for these particular conditional access policies.
Okay.
Then let me go back to, then for risky user policy, right? For risky user policy, you can say, okay, I want this policy to, already something has actually been set here. I think I sent it a long time ago. So include all users and exclude. So I excluded these two users. So I can either choose to exclude more users. So maybe I don't want user to be affected, right? I can exclude this user from the conditional access policy. Then user risk level. So if it is high, right? So the condition is to block access. So that's how it's
Okay.
been set. Yeah. And, so I think it was high for that user. That's why I didn't allow it. Then for
Okay.
this, for the, so whatever is done, you have to enable down here, then save it. Okay. Then for the sign-in risk policy. So for just like user risk policy, the sign-in policy now, you're looking at, okay, how many users? So I included these three users for this, so you can exclude users also based on what you want to create. So this affects either the entire organization, specific users, and you can always exclude some users. So for best practice, it's always advisable that if there are some users you want to actually exclude, it's good to exclude those users, the break less accounts from, so you don't get lockouts. Then if you enable it, then we save. We don't want to enable that, so let me just save it for example. So when the signing rate is medium and above, right, the condition I was set is that let the user allow access but request multi-factor authentication.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's for that particular user. Then for multi-factor authentication registration policy, right? So for this now, this is for all users, right? So allow all users, select users or groups to increase the policy, all users. So if I want to exclude any user, I can always add them there. So the countries that require Microsoft Entra ID multi-factor authentication registration. So all users, so far you're part of the organization, you must create a multi-factor authentication registration, irrespective of who you are. Create that, and once that is done, you save that also for the user. And it's always very important to know that before all these things are possible, right? Before all these things are possible, before you can even use this Microsoft Entra ID protection features, your tenants must have a Microsoft Entra ID P2.
Okay.
So without P2, you cannot use it. In fact, if you create a tenant and you've not activated either a trial for P2, you'll not
So
be able
anything
to.
from P2 downward will not have it.
No, P2. If you have P1, you'll not be able to use the Entra
Yeah,
ID
that's what I'm
protection.
saying. Okay, sorry, from P1 downward, I wanted to say.
Yes, you'll not be able to use it. You'll not be
Okay.
able to use it. Yes, the feature will not be. It's not even do any setup for you because
Okay.
the license requirement is that P2 is an important thing that you must have, and before an administrator will be able to assign, be able to actually even do anything with the Microsoft Entra ID protection. So there are some prerequisite rules that must be given to this user to even see that particular features. So either the user is a security administrator, that means as a security administrator, It provide full access to identity protection. The only thing for this particular rule is that they cannot reset password for users. Like if I come to just sign in, let me go back to the dashboard here and click on view tabs. Now for this user, for example, now as an administrator, if I don't have if I have security administrator, I'll be able to see this thing, but I will not be able to perform this reset password for this user as a security
Okay.
administrator. Yeah, I'll not be able
Okay.
to do that for that. Then another role that will also be able to assess this also is the security operator. So for these guys, they can view all identity protection reports and overview. So any of these reports and overview, they'll be able to view all these reports, right? And they can even dismiss the user risk. They can confirm
Okay.
self signing and they can confirm compromise because they are SOC guys. So just like the security administrator, they will not be able to reset password for user. Then apart from that, they will not be able to configure any alerts, and also they will not be able to configure or change policy. So any of this policy, right? They will not be able to configure it. They will not be able to also change any of the policy. And another set of rule that can also be because Microsoft is actually big on the principle of least privilege access. It gives users access based on their role, what they would need to do their job. You don't give them more than what they require. Like another rule that is that will also need to do anything in identity protections are also the security reader. So like for security reader, they'll be able to view all identity protection report and overview, right?
Okay.
For
Okay.
security administrator, they have full access to the identity protection. The only thing they cannot do is to reset password for user because that work is only meant for another user, which is a user administrator, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So for security reader, they can view all identity protection reports, but they can't configure or change any of the policy like the security operator. They cannot reset password for users. They cannot configure alerts, and they cannot also give feedback on what is detected. They can't do that. They're only there to just read. They never have like a read access only. Another one that is also funny is the global reader. So the global reader can basically read. They have the read-only access to the identity protection. So they cannot do any, they cannot reset password, they cannot do all those ones. But user administrator, like I mentioned earlier, those ones can only reset the user's password. So if there's an issue, so if you need a user to be able to, or an administrator, a security operator to be able to reset user's password, so just assign them both the security operator as well as user administrator, then they'll be able to um reset users' password basically. And the only rule that can't access the risky signing policy are the security operator.
The security operator cannot access it.
Access the risky signing report. So to
Okay.
see the risky signing report, they cannot access it. But every other
Okay.
person can
Okay.
do that. That's the last update that Microsoft basically provided. And for a conditional access administrator, they can create policy that factor in user or risk signing as a condition. So once there's a user or risk signing as a condition, this conditional access administrator can create such policies for those users basically.
All
So I
this
really
kind
think,
of all the okay. Say what you should continue.
yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. Ask the
I
question.
wanted to ask that all these kind of configurations, all these kind of policies, is it part of the responsibility of the IM team?
So the only way the IM team comes in is when there's a request from the sub team,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And
Okay.
most of the time, in an ideal situation, like I remember when I was working at the institute, right? We only have the Microsoft Entra IDP one.
Okay.
So the P2 they didn't subscribe to it, and it was clear why. Because as a sysadmin, we manage the Azure, we manage the identity and all those things, but we
Okay.
have a cyber security team that
Okay.
does SOC work,
Okay.
right? So they have a third party too that do all the work.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So my team, we don't do any of those things. So
Okay.
the only thing we do, we manage the conditional access policy based on the request from the SOC team. Okay, they are
Okay.
noticing this, they are noticing this, they are noticing. So
Okay.
since P1 can do conditional access, right?
Mm.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
where we jump in. So it is always between a business requirements and who is
Okay.
handling who. So there is actually no fine differentiator between my team and our cybersecurity team. Why?
Okay.
Because for the cloud, we manage everything cloud security. Why they manage the on-prem security. So
Okay.
we have the an hybrid setup, right? So my team, meaning me, I manage both the M365 side, the Azure side, and also the AWS side as an IAM. So we also
Okay.
have an IAM guy in the on-prem that are responsible for creating the users and all those things. So when there is all these anomaly behaviors and all that, they use a third party to for all those things. But in an organization whereby the IAM team is both on-prem and cloud, and again, our cybersecurity team, the only access they have is security administrator to the tenants. Meanwhile, our team, we are the global administrator of the tenants. They are just
Okay.
security administrator managing just security part. But again, at the end of the day, the cloud, we are the one doing we are the one doing the security of the cloud. They are
Okay.
focusing on the on-prem. Even the on-prem, they only do what we call advisory. Okay, they notice this is not properly configured. This is not properly configured. We both have we are global admin, so we both basically have we have we have the IS, the higher rights access, right? They do the
Mm-hmm.
administry. So, but because the tenant is not a P2 tenant, meaning that we don't use the identity protection. So
Okay.
from
Okay.
their side, there's a solution they use for the identity to the SOC guys. So they do their remediation on their own. But if in an organization that is using P2, because sometimes they feel maybe the cost of the license, right? Basically, for an organization that is using P2, you'll be able to configure all those things. So you don't just start configuring things, right? It's always based on a business request,
Requirements.
yeah,
Okay.
requirements, and
Mm.
even the requirements how to pass through the technology governance team,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's the
also change.
GRC, right?
Exactly. So we have a GLC team, technology governance, our head of technology governance. So we cannot just start configuring things, even though
Okay.
we know there are best practices. So what we
Mm.
do, like what I do to be proactive as an administrator, is to prepare set of policies that will help us to be more secure.
Okay.
Then present it to my manager for approval, who now send it to the head of the tower place that I report to, who send this to the governance teams, right? See, these are
Okay.
things that we notice in the tenant. Like one of the things I did when I joined the organization, I went to the Defender portal and I
Okay.
went to let me see, is the exposure overview, student allowance, trying to remember. So I brought out, so they've even updated it. So secure score. So I went
Okay.
to
Yeah.
look at
Okay.
a secure score for security, for identity, secure score. Yeah, these are what I was looking for. Yeah.
Okay.
So what I did was I checked this, then I exported what we have here. So based on in terms of identity, in terms of
Okay.
data, in terms of application. So I
Mm-hmm.
just exported this result. I click on VHO and exported it. So after
Okay.
exporting it, I share with our governance team, our head of governance, through my
Okay.
manager. Okay,
Okay.
this is what we have. Our secure score was sitting at 40 something percent. We can improve this. Okay. Based on because the governance team is working with the business directly, so they know
Okay.
what the organization need, right? So
Mm-hmm.
after exporting this, so what we exported, we just review the Excel sheet, right? Okay,
Okay.
we check each of those recommendations. So the ones that will not have any business impact, right?
Okay.
We got an approval for it, so I had to raise a
To
change
implement.
request. Yeah, so the
Okay.
change, they review the change management team how to review it, right? Check the
Mm-hmm.
impact of, you know, the impact is going to have on the organization or any impact.
Implementations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
when it was not approved, we now implement, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
anyone that requires license, like for example now, to implement this, for example now, to tell you that the license that requires is Defender for Office 365 tender for office, right? So if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have it, so if the finance team need to, approve us buying the license, right? We buy it. But if it's not approved, definitely we cannot do anything, right? So
Okay.
so it goes to a lot of you don't just come to the tenant and start implementing, make changes because somebody did and it's almost got the person fired because
Into trouble. Yeah.
it was just implementing things. And it was affecting business. People cannot collaborate. They cannot, so
Mm-hmm.
because of that, so
Mm.
you have to follow the change management process basically.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
that's actually the best way forward. So it is you are coming as a subject matter expert to advise the business that okay,
Mm.
our cloud needs to be secure. These are the things I notice, and these are the things that need to be implemented. Then
Mm.
providing the impacts. If you don't implement it, are we likely get to be hacked or something? Okay, what are the advantage of implementing and all that? So once they review that thing, it goes through approval process. Then there's a need to procure license. We work with the supply chain and the finance team to help procure the license. Once the license has been procured, we start implementing those changes and we'll monitor it. So if there's anything, so of course, there'll be a communication from the change management team that, okay, tonight, these are things that are going to be implemented, right? So in case there's anything, people are aware that, okay, the team is making this particular change, right?
Mm.
So in case they face anything, they can easily reach out back to team. So we already have a rollback plan. So in case it's affecting anything in terms of the operation, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
quickly initiate a rollback plan so that the business is not affected. We don't lose
Affected. Yeah.
our revenue, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
So that's actually how those changes are being implemented basically. You don't just
Okay.
implement things. So you as an SME, you understand the impact, why those
Mm.
things need to be done, and you already know your findings on how those things will be implemented, right? So once
Mm-hmm.
those are implemented, you'll be able to. So for you have to be very careful. I don't actually usually do anything on conditional access on this tenant, so I don't lock myself out. So that's why I'm not doing
Okay.
any demo on this one.
Okay.
I'm not doing demo. Yeah. Let me share you something that will be very useful if you need to practice on your own tenants. So if
Okay.
you have better your tenants, you can practice it. Let me share this. Okay, dropping it in the chat.
Okay.
This starts to help. That's something that actually requires a lot of planning also. You have to plan. You have to
Mm.
plan what you're doing. Yeah. And it's
Okay. Conditional access policy.
not a planning
That is the
document.
500. That is the 500 account. How exam? How difficult is that exam?
Once you understand the main parts, identity,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
find that, yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then networks and computer. So it's not actually that difficult. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not that difficult. You should plan to take the exam actually.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking at. I've started going through it.
Okay. Let me send you something that will be very useful also as you prepare, just to guide you. And
Because that exam seems to be one of the top notch
it's
for
actually
six.
hot cake in market actually.
Oh, okay.
It's hot cake in the market. It's 500, I see 300. Those two. It's made out to go into sock. I see 200.
Mm,
So, but it's 500 is top in the market for security,
yeah.
for class security. Okay, just send you something on the WhatsApp.
Okay, on WhatsApp.
Yeah,
Okay.
to be very useful as you prepare. All right, so
I don't have it yet though. The one on
yeah,
WhatsApp.
it is it is uploading. So it's big a
Oh,
bit.
okay,
It's
okay,
uploading.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. No problem.
the complete it to pop up for you.
Okay.
So for generally for protect, you're using a conditional access. You're using user risk policy, like I demonstrated. You're
Mm-hmm.
using the sign-in policy as well, and also the multi-factor authentication registration policy. Because sometimes before users will access resources in your tenants, right? It is always very important that they have multi-factor authentication registered for the sake of security, basically.
Okay.
Then for protect, right? So you'll be able to see, sorry, for reports, you'll be able to see these are you now see the risky users. So these are the users that has been detected,
Classified.
right? Yes.
Okay.
So to tell you that risky, say this is confirmed compromise,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then this is at risk. So it provide the time that this is actually checking. So it's
But what
confirming
an
it.
individual is confirmed compromise? What remediation step was taken, or there was no need for any remediation?
So that
That
was
person.
automatic. It was automatic. That's why it wasn't providing this, right?
Okay.
So it is now left for the SOC team. So when this user is not complaining, I'm not getting this. So the SOC
Mm,
team will now have to go into this, right, to
mm-hmm.
confirm user safe.
Okay. 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 Okay.
So it was just testing basically. So
So
let
now
me
if you
refresh.
confirm, okay.
You just should be able to sign in. Let me refresh this after
Yeah,
confirming
I
user
wanted
safe.
to say that maybe you'll be able to sign in now if we confirm that the user is safe.
Yeah, I'm sure you should be able to sign in on this. So let me sign out and sign in this. I don't want to use Tor now this time around because again, Tor
Okay.
browser will also provide all those things. It's just for us to check if to text for those signings, especially for anonymous IP. So let me
Okay.
sign in using Google Chrome with that same user. Now provide authentication. The user can sign in. So your account is blocked. We detected suspicious activity in your account. Sorry, the organization you're trying to access restrict. Please contact the administrator. This guy is an administrator. So let me go back. Select this, confirm, user save. So it might take some time to
Okay, to sync for the
sync. Yeah,
update to sync.
yeah, it takes some time to sync. Try something. This means us. This might run it. Let me give it some time for that to load. So
Yeah.
that's what in terms of report which user does is give you. So if there are a lot of them, you can always download it. Then if
Okay.
you want to select all the users at the same time, you can select all. So whatever you want to do, you want to confirm that they are all safe, you can confirm it. Yeah.
Okay.
For the users, you want to unselect all, to unselect for you. So until you select something here, before all these other ones we basically show for the users. And like I went the other time, once you go into the user, so it gives you some other properties, right?
Yeah.
Recent user sign in to show you the recent risky signing, right? So it was trying to sign in, the status was failure, the IP address, risky confirm high. So because it was high, continuous access was not applied. Detection not linked to signing, then risk history. So it gives you the history. So when I confirm, okay, I think I confirmed compromise earlier. That is why, because you can see the report here. So the
Yeah.
admin has confirmed compromise. I've confirmed safe now, so I need to
Okay.
give it some time. Still that I cannot sign in. Yeah. Then risky workload identity. So if you have some identities for your workload, like service
Mm-hmm.
principals, for example, right?
Yeah.
Those ones will be populated here.
Okay.
So
Okay.
those service
That but that
principal,
that includes service account, right?
service account, right? So current service principal. So all those
Okay.
accounts they use for workload, they don't
Mm-hmm.
have username and password, just username. They have service
Yeah.
principals, yeah. So for
Okay. And that's the
search,
same thing as service account.
yes.
Okay.
So for search, to populate here.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
for risky signings, so this gives reports for risky signings. Basically, I should expect to see almost the same thing too. So just
So
going
the
back to
first
this,
part, the protect deals with the policies that will be applied. The second part talks about the reports.
the report for it to give an overview. So
Okay.
this is actually where the SOC team comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Like user is blocked from signing in, for example, now. So the SOC team has to come and check this report to
Mm-hmm.
confirm user is actually reported as either a risky user or the user has performed or called a risky signing, trying to sign into using a Tor browser or from a location that is not recommended. Like for example, now if conditional access policy has been created, let's say all the users in the organization are working from the US. The moment they leave US, they are not expected to sign in. Like my current organization now, if I'm going to go on a vacation
Mm-hmm.
outside my current location, I cannot travel with my laptop,
Okay.
except I've seek for an approval that okay, where I'm going, I'm just spending 10 days. I can still work from there. So
Okay.
they give an exemption and approval. So that will have been configured in the conditional access policy that okay, these users they already know that I'm traveling outside my location. So the
Mm-hmm.
condition that has been solved, an exemption will be I'll be in the
Greater.
exclude user from the conditional access policy that was
Mm-hmm.
affecting me. So for that period, I'll be excluded. So that the moment I leave my current location, anywhere I'm going, I'll be able to sign in successfully. Otherwise, I'm going to be able to sign in, but the error I will still get is this error that says that your administrator has blocked, yeah, your administrator has blocked. So I'll get my account has been blocked majorly. And once the account has been blocked, so I need to basically contact the administrator. So to avoid the instance of my account being blocked, right? Because I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to sign in from a location that is like an high risk location. Like for
Yeah.
me now, there are some countries that I cannot work from. those countries are considered high risk location for me. So for
Okay.
those locations now, the conditional access policy that the administrators has configured for those locations that from any signing from this location, block automatically. So I'll be blocked.
Hmm.
Except I get an approval. So sometimes approval can go as high as the MD to approve that
Wow.
okay, I must work in this location because it's an high risk location for the business that I'm working for. It's an high risk location. So there must be an approval. Like maybe I want to go to vacation in some African country, for example, that are high risk location, for example, and I carry my work system to that location to now go and sign in because it's going to detect the IP location where I'm signing in from.
Of
Once
course.
location meets the condition that was set to block, it automatically block my signing. So the point of even going to even taking my official laptop there to sign in, it has been defeated already. So I cannot even work from that location automatically.
Okay.
So that was what risky signing does. But if the conditional access has not been configured, right?
Mm-hmm.
But from the user risk policies, signing risk policies has been configured. So those will be part of the reports that will be available for the administrators of the organization to investigate further. It will be available.
Okay.
Because here you check containers. So there is a default security default that is actually configured for the tenant. That's what I'm using on the tenant. If I go to I get the Entra ID, income properties. I go to so what I'm using, what my organization using is security default. So if I click on manage security default now, so this is um a default that Microsoft sets for the organization. So if I turn it off, for example, maybe I want to disable it, for example, now that means I have to enforce conditional access. So maybe I'm planning to use conditional access, right? I have to
Yeah.
enforce that before I can do that. So that's what the tenant is using at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah. Then the last one under reports is a risky detections, right? So for risky detections, it's based on it's writing on all these things, right? But for example, I don't have anything that is like a risk detections for now that's been reported. Rather have for risky users, risky signing. Strange. Is it that it has passed time? Sure. Let me refresh. That I was saying risky user earlier. Hmm. Easier reports. Microsoft Easier reports. Okay, so let's move on for now. Then other settings that can be configured are user at risk detected alert. So if you want to check, so
So
since
that a
so
lot.
users in the global admin, security admin are automatically added to this risk. So if they have a
Okay.
valid email address. So if you want to add people, user detected that you want to actually check, okay. Let's say I have a user, this particular user, for example, okay, how to put the complete email address.
So this one, these people here. So if a user is at risk, they will receive alert, right, in terms of email or something. Is that what
Yeah.
it means? Okay.
This, if any of these users, so all these users, they are global administrators, right?
Okay.
So if
Mm-hmm.
any of them is at risk, they are
Mm-hmm.
automatically added to this
What?
for
Okay.
other global admin to, receive email. So
Okay.
then I can now add other users to it. So
Okay.
that's okay. So automatically any users from the global admin or security reader role, they automatically added here, right? So I can now add other users I want to get once this user is at risk, let us get an alert. Then weekly digest is more or less like an alert. Let me save this. So I can delete this one I had it, but the rest I cannot delete them because they are there by default. The only thing I can do is to go on to disable them, but they are added to users at risk detected alert. So they will receive all the alerts, right? That users, once they are reached, you receive those alerts. Then the same thing for weekly digest. So based on the security, right? Based on security, they will get some weekly digest. Let me see if I have example in my email. For the weekly digest. Let me search weekly digest here. You can see how it looks. So this is an example. So the weekly digest. So users
Okay.
as a global admin who just get an email like this. Get an email like this every
Okay.
every week.
So these all these ones they are not that there's no any configuration that is needed. It's
No,
automatic.
no, it's automatic. So all these users are there by default. Global admin, security admin, or
Okay.
security reader. So you can only so if there's a particular user that don't want the user to receive it, you can just turn off for the user or
Okay
by
for the okay for
default
the okay okay
for the admin. So by
okay
default, they are
okay
all added here by default.
by default. Okay.
Yeah. So another settings here is allow on-prem password change to reset users risks. So when because sometimes if you check for this, let me go back to this risky users, for example. And this when you bring it in, let me just go to the dashboard and see here too. So for this user risk reports. Okay. So this feature is there for to reset the password. So most times resetting the password resets the risk state of the user, right? So but for these settings now, it's not talking about when users, maybe they are sync users,
Okay.
right, from on-prem and they reset their password. Either they use a control alt delete to reset the password or an
Mhm.
administrator went to the Active Directory to reset the user's password, right? So if this
Okay.
is enabled, what it means is that it will reset the user's risk automatically.
Oh, okay, okay. Once they perform the password change, password
Yes,
reset. Okay,
for on-prem, it will reset
okay,
it basically.
okay.
And
So it will now lower the risk, right?
yes, by
Okay,
resetting it means that the user is not at risk again. Maybe it
it's
was
not a
set to
risk again.
compromise or high
Yeah,
risk before to
yeah.
just take it out because obviously when you reset the password and the password that you reset to is a strong password,
Mm-hmm.
automatically the risk of the user is actually reset
Okay.
basically. Yeah. So that's on identity protection bit. So let's go to another discussion talking about Entra ID Connect. Entra ID Connect. So one cool features about Microsoft Entra is that it allows you to bring users from your on-prem. Let's type connect. Entra ID Connect. We go here. All services. I'm going to hybrid identity. Hybrid and multi-cloud identity. So Entra Connect, okay. Microsoft Entra Connect. Now, when we talk about Microsoft Entra Connect, actually, it is not an Azure thing. It is actually on-prem,
Okay.
meaning that the organization before they started using the cloud, they were using on-prem Active Directory. Now, you want to bring those identities instead of creating fresh identity from the Microsoft Entra ID. You want to synchronize those identity from on-prem to cloud, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
have to use a feature called Microsoft Entra Connect. So for now, it shows me that it's not installed. Why? Because I've not currently set up an hybrid identity things. I don't currently my AD. I lost the server, so I don't currently have it. I would have shown you that before. But when you download this, so
It's okay.
it can actually be installed on when you have a server, on-prem servers that has Active Directory, basically.
Okay.
But
Okay.
let me see if any of my server has AD. Let me see if I have any server that has AD. I know, okay, I didn't have my servers here. This is my server. So I used to have a server thing that I use, but I think I'm not sure. I have it again. So what it does is that you download it like I downloaded it like this,
Okay.
then install it on a server that is a
Okay.
domain controller, meaning that
Okay.
that server you promoted it from just being another Windows servers to becoming Active Directory domain controller.
Controller. Yeah.
Yeah. So a domain controller simply means that you have enabled the role Active Directory users and computers role on that server. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
maybe later I can. Well, let me see if I can provision the server real quick when I'm explaining that. If you can quickly do that. Let's virtual machines. Let me just quickly create one. So here, source group. That one I wasn't using it. I just removed it. Okay, and let's use availabilities on. Just need one for now. Oh, I want a Windows Server 2016, for example. Select images. Let's just quickly provision one small one. We can quickly use. Shouldn't take time to provision. So let me leave it like that. Um, I think BitMS is okay. It's $7.74 per month. Let me leave it. We've got a username, password. That works. I'm not changing anything. Let me just go to dates. What I want to do for dates. Give me 60. I'm leaving that as default. So it's going to allow that. I'll just quickly provision one and install the interconnect so you can see the feature. So basically the Microsoft Entra ID Connect feature has what we call password hash synchronization. What is password hash synchronization? It's a signing method that basically synchronizes a hash of users' on-prem AD password with the Microsoft Entra ID. So meaning that even though the AD is down or Microsoft Entra ID is up, user will still be able to sign into it, into that VM. That's what the password hash synchronization does. Then the pass-through authentication is also another important feature. It's a signing method that allows users to use the same password on-prem and also in cloud. But for this one, you don't require any additional infrastructure for a federated
Okay.
environment.
Hmm.
Then there's all call. So for this, we generally call it ADDS, Active Directory Domain Service, or those domain controller. Then there's all
Okay.
called ADFS, Active Directory Federation Service. So for federation integration, is actually like an optional part of Entra ID Connect. For that, you can use to configure an hybrid environment using an on-prem ADFS. Okay, let
Okay.
me go to resource. This is provision. Try to connect a hub. Just try to connect to it. See, if get lucky. Copy this IP address. Select. It's validating.
I thought you download the
RDP.
RDP.
Yes, I
Yeah.
already have. I have RDP installed. Yeah, so I didn't download
Oh,
RDP. So just copy the public IP.
okay. Okay, so if you already have the if you
RDP.
have the
Just
RDP
yeah,
installed
just
on
copy the.
your
Yeah, I don't need to download it again.
oh,
It's
okay,
work
okay,
for it. Yeah.
okay,
Just wait to copy the public IP. And once you copy that, fill the
okay,
username and put the password.
okay,
Go into the VM. Okay, VM has been installed. It's coming up. It's happening. I'm trying to bring it to the screen. It's not even coming to the screen.
okay,
I think it's part of what I configure for it. It's not even coming to the screen. It's not dragging. Let me stop sharing and share the screen.
okay.
So one of the big thing about the VM itself is the synchronization.
Mm,
For synchronization now, what that does is that it's responsible for creating users, groups, and other objects, as well as making sure identity information for your on-prem users group matches the cloud. And this synchronization also include what we call the password and hash. Right. Let me share the screen of the VM. All right. So I have my
okay,
VM up. Yep. Then another feature for the Microsoft Entra ID, because of Entra Connect, is the health monitoring. So the Microsoft Entra Connect Health provide a robust monitoring, and it provides a centralized location in the Microsoft Entra Admin Center to view activity. So for this is just an ordinary Windows Server 2016, right?
okay.
It's
Mm-hmm.
just an ordinary. But if I want to provision it to becoming a domain controller, for example, now,
Mm-hmm.
so because we check the tools here, I don't have
Domain
computer
control.
and user. I don't have it
Yeah.
here. So all I just need to do is to add a row by clicking on manage, add rules and feature. So they are automatic view of partial. So what I needed is the row-based features, right? Select the row, the same computer I want to use. So just to select Active Directory domain service role.
Yeah.
So if I need to make it a federation service, ADFX, I select this other one. So
Okay.
depending on the size of the virtual machine, you can use it for a lot of things. If you want it to be like a print server, select this. If you want to use it as a DNA server, but best practice is always good to have different servers for different roles so that in case one crashes, you don't lose all your services at the same time. Then panic
Okay.
starts sitting in here. So if
Okay.
you want to use it as a web server, you just select the role. So let's
Okay.
click on next. So it's straightforward. Just click on next, next, next. So restart the destination server automatically. Maybe it's install. So this might take while to install. So why is installing? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned that for Entra ID, it has the Entra ID, Entra Connect Health, which provide
Yeah.
a robust monitoring for your what it's doing is for your on-prem identity infrastructure. That's what the
Mm-hmm.
Entra Connect doing now. So it enables you to maintain a reliable connection with the Microsoft 365 and Microsoft Online Services. And most times, the reliability is achieved by providing monitoring capability for your key identity component, also to ensure that your key data points about this component are easily accessible. And the information that is present in the Microsoft Entra Connect Health Portal uses Microsoft Connect Health Portal to view alert, performance, monitoring, usage analytics, even other informations, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
enabling you for so it's like a single lens of health for your key identity components. While that is installing, let me quickly bring up the screen so I don't disrupt the installation. All right. So if I go back to my all services hybrid under hybrid identity. I'm going to under identity. I'm seeing Entra ID Connect and Entra
Mm-hmm.
Connect Health here. So most
Okay.
times, yeah, we use this a lot, right? As an admin, I'm getting alerts that the
Mm-hmm.
user is not syncing or there's a conflict in users, right? If I come to
Okay.
Microsoft Entra, so I always come here to sync error. That's something I check every time. So most times
Okay.
it shows me, okay, oh, there are duplicate attributes. Why? Because I mentioned our cybersecurity team are also
Mm-hmm.
our IAM team for on-prem. They are we call
Mm-hmm.
them user administrator. So they have both security administrator role and user administrator role. If a user is joining the organization today, they are the one responsible for creating the user. They want to
Okay.
create groups on-prem and all those things. So most times, maybe they don't know that this group is existing already, or this
Okay.
particular username is existing. So they now create, now start having a duplicate attribute here. So this will actually alert that, oh, there is a duplicate article. So because there's
So
nothing
when you
here.
mean attributes, are you saying
The
what do
same
you mean
email
by
address. The same email
okay,
address.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay,
So maybe they must have missed it that, oh, this is how we've
okay,
created it before. They are now recreating the same user again.
okay. So
Right.
you will see all those informations will be displayed
Was
here.
the display here. So it's
Okay,
connecting back to the Active Directory.
okay, okay.
S-
So, but I have a question before
Yeah.
it begins. Does any installation required just like what we needed for the ID Connect, Entra ID Connect?
So it work alongside with the Entra Connect. So
Oh,
until
okay,
that will have been configured already, right?
okay,
It will have been
okay,
configured already. So the Entra Connect is what basically connects the Active Directory to the Entra ID.
mm-hmm.
So once that has been done, it will allow us to use the Entra Connect Health. So this is just to
Okay,
monitor what is happening in Entra ID itself. So there's an
okay,
issue with Entra ID itself, right?
mm-hmm.
It's going to give us an overview of, okay, there's an issue here. Okay, this is how you do it. There's an issue here. So you can see that even under the quiz, you see that we have a lot of tools. You can download the Entra Connect Health for ADFS. So if you're using an Active Directory Federation service, right? This will be the tool that you'll be using. You have to connect it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're using the Connect Health agent for sync, so you have to also install it. Then for ADDS, you have to download and install it. So there must be a download that will be
Okay,
linking the two together.
okay.
So this is for the, so if there's a sync, so this gives you overview of sync error. Sync error,
Okay.
like there's a just duplicate attributes, there's a data mismatch. So there's a data that
Hmm.
ought to match on the on-prem that are not matching, right? It gives you that
Okay.
attribute. There's a large attribute, right? There's an existing admin role and all that. There are others
Okay.
here. It will also provide such reports for you. Let me see. Okay, so we need to, so it has installed that. So the next thing to tell you that there's a need for a post deployment. So this is to promote this server as a domain controller.
Yeah.
Just select this. So let's, so first. So if there's a domain you want to use, let me just use this domain.
This domain exists, right?
Hmm.
Right?
Commanding the dignity for us. It whether it exists or not, it doesn't really matter. So the reason
Okay.
is why he's asking me is so it's because it's under the domain contract to an existing domain, but I want it to be a new because it's the first one, so it has to be the root. So again, yeah, that domain actually exists. We can actually use
Okay.
any domain here. Can use
Even
it
if
dot
the domain
local.
does not exist.
Yeah, it's can use dot local. So just for your
Okay.
local accounts on-prem.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So you can decide to. So let me just leave that as dot local. The next. So it tells me the domain controller option. So I'm going to basically leave everything as default. Just provide a password. Yes, I need to perform a directory service restore. Okay, next. DNS option. I'm not creating DNS delegations for now, so I'm just going to go next. So let's BIOS name. So it's verifying that for me. So for the Entra Connect Health, some of the best practices in terms of benefits, it helps you to basically provide enhanced security. For example, now, so in terms of field signing reports, in privacy compliance, right? Then
Hmm.
provide that. Then it also helps you to get alerted on all critical ADFS system issue. So organizations that still uses Azure Active Directory Filtration Services, right? So it tells you with server configuration and availability for your ADFS, performance and connectivity, and also for regular maintenance. Then another thing that it does, there is it's actually easy to deploy and manage, which you're going to see by the time we done promoting this server. So I think everything here is good. Can ignore this. These are just install. So this might take a while too. So then it is easy to deploy and manage, meaning that just installing the agents that were downloaded. And
Hmm.
funnest thing is that the agents automatically updates. So you don't need to even do anything. So when
Oh.
Microsoft pushes a new update for the Entra Connect, it
Hmm.
automatically updates. And
Okay.
any data that you need to be available, it is always available within the portal within minutes. So that means if I create a new users on-prem,
Hmm.
there's a command called Delta Sync. Delta Sync means that anything I do updates the latest changes I've made, or I can wait for the entire full sync. So full sync happens every 15 minutes based on your synchronization service, but the lowest is 15 minutes, right? The lowest is 15 minutes. That's when full sync
Okay.
happens.
So delta sync and full sync.
Yeah, Delta
Those are
Sync. Yeah. So any new changes you made, Delta Sync
the.
will automatically update those new changes. So it will not go through the complete full sync that is going to synchronize the entire Active Directory again.
Hmm.
Delta Sync will update. So maybe you updated the user's password and you need the user to quickly update it immediately to check if the password is working. You run
Okay.
the Delta Sync for the
I
user.
need
So
you to clarify something to me.
Yeah.
When you were putting the domain on the AD, you said we could use local. I don't get it. When I was asking you which domain to use.
Okay, so local means that it is local to our AD. That means that local, I don't want to use it in a production environment.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to use it in a production environment. But
Okay.
if I want to use my already purchased domain, so I can put my domain there. So any domain you put doesn't really matter, actually.
Okay.
It doesn't
Okay.
matter because you get to
Okay.
set the proxy address that you want to synchronize
Okay.
eventually.
Okay.
So let's try to sign in back to server. So it has configured it has promoted it as a domain controller ready.
Hmm.
So easy to deploy. We'll be able to see that shortly. I hope I'll be able to copy what I downloaded into the server because I'm not sure if I configured that to be able to copy from my system to Vim. But let's see. If it doesn't work, we'll just download it inside the server straight and install.
Okay. I
So
wanted to ask that. Are we
yeah.
supposed to download it from the server itself, or
So if you
we
can
can?
copy from your local system to the server,
Okay.
it doesn't really matter, right? You can
Okay.
download and look at and copy it. So I want to check if I
Okay.
did that. If this will allow. And another thing the Entra Connect ought provide is a rich user metrics, right? So things around top application usage. Maybe you have some applications that are running, right?
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
helps provide top application usage and network location, any TCP connections, right? Token requests per servers, it does that. And again, it provides a dashboard that looks like the Entra admin center itself. And it also helps you with alerts through emails too. So those are some of the best practices that it provides. Let this, so because it's coming up for the first time, it might take a while. It'll take a while. Okay. So while we're waiting for that to come up, so there is also a cloud version for the Microsoft Entra Connect. We call it the Microsoft Entra Cloud Sync.
The
That one
cloud
is on
version.
the cloud version is on Azure.
So
Microsoft
so
Entra.
so that one will be installed on Azure, not on Active Directory.
Well, it's still on Active Directory too. It's still on Active Directory. I will explain how that works shortly. It's actually a cloud provisioning agent. Let me check.
Okay.
It is still coming up. Cloud Sync. Is it server hop? Let me see. Okay, still applying good policy. Okay, that's how it helped.
Okay.
Let me copy the agents. Let me see if I can copy from.
Download. Maybe connect.
Okay. Let's copy.
Yeah.
So for the cloud sync is like an offering. It's not like part of Azure, right?
It's a
It's
service
also
offering.
yes, the service offering, right? And the goal is the same thing actually. It is
Okay.
designed to meet and accomplish your hybrid identity goals for synchronization of users, for groups, and contacts to Microsoft Entra ID. So that's what it's focusing on. It focuses on users, group, and contacts. And basically, it is accomplished by using the Microsoft Identity Cloud Provisioning Agent
Okay.
instead of the Entra Connect application. However, you can also use it alongside with the Microsoft Entra Connect Sync. And some of the benefits that it provides are it supports synchronization to Microsoft Entra ID from a multi-forest disconnected Active Directory forest environment. What's the multi-forest? Um, Let me explain like this. If you have let me get whiteboard installed. Oh, I don't have whiteboard installed. Let me check the cloud version for the whiteboard. Okay. Tell me to sign in. Come on. This is still copying. Okay. Now, if you have so usually Active Directory is represented by a triangle like this on-prem. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Why the Entra ID is like kite or diagonal like this. So
Mm-hmm.
when a forest consists of one or more domain controller, one or more.
But aren't we supposed to have one domain controller on? Can we have more than one domain controller on the server?
So you can have three servers. Each of them will be a domain controller,
So different servers.
different servers exactly,
Okay. Okay.
but they will be linked together.
Okay. Okay.
It's actually outside the scope of when we're discussing on-prem stuff, discuss it, right? So when
Okay.
you have one or more domain controller,
Mm-hmm.
it's makeup of a forest. So let's say
Okay.
this is organization A, one
Yeah.
forest.
Yeah.
Now, let's say they want to acquire another organization that
Okay.
has two domain controller, primary and
Okay.
secondary, right? So
Which
let's
make their own
say
forest.
this is our node forest, right? So
Yeah.
this scenario, we call it multi-forest scenario
Okay.
because this is one forest,
This is
has one
another
or more domain.
forest.
This is another
It
forest.
has two domain controller.
Yeah. So in such a situation, right, it's the Entra Cloud Connect Sync for synchronization to Entra tenant for multi-forest disconnected Active Directory forest environment. So the common scenario for this is that maybe there is a kind of a merger and acquisition
Mm-hmm.
where a company acquires another company, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they're in
Yeah.
different forests.
Okay.
Or some organization that has maybe in their planning, they've planned wrongly and they have a lot of AD forest that is in different they're not connected together.
Okay.
So we can use the Microsoft Cloud Sync for that. And this actually helps to simplify installation with a lightweight provisioning agent, right? So the agents basically act as a bridge from the Active Directory to the Entra ID, and with all the synchronization configuration managed in the cloud. So instead
Hmm.
of managing the synchronization on-prem, like we're going to see by the time we install here, instead of
Hmm.
managing synchronization on the server,
Yeah.
rather the synchronization is managed on Azure. That's different.
Okay. 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 Because I'm assuming because we have different domain controller. So if we want to do it this way, that means we'll be installing AD Connect on each of those servers. And in that
Exactly.
case, we have 5 servers that make two
Server.
forests. So we can now use the Microsoft Cloud Sync for that instead of
Yes.
basically
Using
using. Okay. Okay.
although you can use that of the Entra Connect, right? The only
Hmm.
thing is that it's one of the feature that Entra Connect doesn't provide is this backup or failover.
Okay.
So like most of the times, like in my organization now, we have three domain controllers, the primary and two secondary, right?
Okay.
The server that is hosting the Entra Connect is a different server
Okay.
that is linked to all the three servers.
Okay. So you are using one. Are you saying okay
One.
because the rest
So
because the
you don't need to install
okay
on each of those servers,
on each
right?
one of them?
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't
Okay.
need to. So there is
Okay.
a
Because one
network,
is actually the main one, right?
yeah, the primary. But
The
the way
primary one.
it's usually set up, it mostly actually be on the server itself. You can have a different server for the Entra Connect.
Oh, okay,
You can have
okay,
a different server. Then all the
okay,
servers will be linked together and they'll be talking to that particular area so that when there's changes on server A, whether it
okay,
is server A, server B, like now from our organization now, the primary domain controller is not what our user admin team usually use, even though they have access to it. So
okay,
we have 81, 82, 83, for example
okay,
now. Now
okay,
the 81 is a primary, 82 and
okay,
83 are secondary.
okay,
So they use 83. We use 81 and 82, depending on what we want to achieve.
okay,
You understand that? So if they
okay.
create users on 83, create groups, so it synchronizes to all other AD, then
ADs. Okay,
it synchronizes to the cloud.
okay,
So there's already synchronization, right?
okay, okay.
Replications happening between all those servers. So those are like other configurations.
So
So
one
this is
AD Connect will still serve the purpose for
exactly,
those three servers.
exactly. But
Okay.
the moment the AD connect server
Is what? Is down?
is down, there won't be
Okay,
replication at that point.
okay, okay, okay. So that
You
one needs
understand?
to be up all the time.
Yeah, it has to be up. In fact, all the servers have definitely actually have to be up all the time, but
Yeah,
they can,
basically.
except when you want to reboot. So you reboot
Yeah.
one, yeah. So So I'm trying to install this. So there are two type of installation, right? There's what
Hmm.
called the express installation, and there's what called the custom installation. For somebody, the installation does not be enabled. So I need to I know most of this because of what Microsoft update that Microsoft is pushing. So I need to enable
The current version
TLS
of TLC.
TLS2. Let me see 1 second. I know my run into this because TLS 1.0 and TLS 1.1. Microsoft doesn't want to use them.
Mm.
Hold on. I think I even know where to go instead of doing the documentation. Let me just type control panel, control panel. This server is slow, kind of. Control panel. Go to small icons, security, security. This security, let me see. System, to be internet options. Internet options, sorry. And security, should be advanced security. Yep. So the security here. These are the I don't like. So they still is 1.2 enabled now. So what are they saying? You need to install to is 1.2. Let me remove those ones first. Apply and
Okay.
okay.
So that will just leave the one
It's
point.
1.2, yeah.
Okay.
That's this. That's one problem with all this on-prem. Okay, install. Okay, so it says still bringing the same error.
Really?
Okay, let me check
Is
something
already
first.
a connect wizards to continue with installation and configuration. On the server, please refer to document to learn about the steps you need to take to enable.
Maybe server 16. Enable tele something to Windows Server 16. It's not referring to that. Let me see. I don't know how to install .NET. So
So what I try to do now?
yeah, just to
No.
quickly enable it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, want me to enable at registry key? Mm. So I force it. Let me just copy this. So one of the challenge you meet as you troubleshoot. Okay, copy this. So it's actually on the registry editor. You want me to do it?
Okay.
So this has to run as admin. So paste the command, enter. Reinforce. And paste. Enter. Okay. Once you start the server again. That registry editor. Continue. Fully be able to start that. So let's wait for that to be installed. So another thing that the Microsoft Entra Cloud Sync does, um mention that it simplifies installation with lightweight provisioning agents, meaning that
Well, I don't.
the
Mhm.
agent acts as a bridge from the ED to the Entra ID with all the synchronization configuration managed in cloud. So it's being managed in cloud. Then the next is that multiple provisioning agents can be used to simplify high availability deployment. Remember, I mentioned to you that if the synchronization server is down, server that is
Mm-hmm.
hosting the listing now, what
Mm-hmm.
happens? That means identity will not sync,
Exactly.
right? So
Yes.
what this does is you can have multiple provisioning agents for high availability. And
Okay.
this is actually critical for organization that relies on password hash synchronization from ED to Entra
Okay.
ID. Because once the users reset their password, the
Mm-hmm.
hash is saved, right?
Yeah.
The hash of the password is saved. And another thing it does, it supports a large group. Let's say the server is home, RDP. It supports a large group with up to 50,000 members.
Wow. 50.
Yes, that's what the cloud sync does. So these are part of the things that it has over the connect. So it recommends to only use the organization unit scoping filter when
Mm.
you're synchronizing the large group. So organization units is very, very important. That's let's see, let's hope this will work this time before at least can install this.
What is it like working with KPMG?
Let's see because I just joined. It's really, really challenging. Yeah. Maybe so we can talk
Others,
after
others.
outside the recording.
Okay, okay.
And let's go to the download folder. We have the folder.
Let's hope it goes this time around.
Yeah.
Prepare.
Still the same error.
Same, same error. Wow. Shit.
I mean, something is wrong. I'll have to take this up to Microsoft. So they need to explain to me why it's not working.
Mhm. And that document did not state this, right? Okay, you use that document to troubleshoot now, right?
There's a document here. It was what
Yeah. Mhm.
I enabled it. I even enforced it on documents.
Yeah.
Let me try again. Set out to start going into the registry key.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think they
Let me,
mentioned something about the registry.
let me remove completely first. Try again. And install
Okay, you are trying to remove it
completely. Yeah. And try
completely.
afresh.
Okay.
Maybe still
Okay.
picking the whole instance.
Okay.
Same error.
Uh,
Let me do something. Reject it. To Home machine, software, wow, 634 node, Microsoft, .NET framework, .NET framework. 343 16. Sometimes it will actually be the .NET framework actually. So inside this 393. So let's see. Okay. So let me try this. California times new one. They what? States. The value to be 1. Set the value to 1. Okay. Then this also. Suppose maybe that stuff partial not kicking also.
Okay.
It will be strange anyway. Then set it also to be 1. Okay. Usually once you make any registry change, you have to restart. Local machine software.NET framework. So that's it. The last is again. Local machine. So it's the Microsoft. So it's actually lots to do. So I'm going to use registry. Microsoft.NET framework. So that's what had to launch this stuff. Miss. Okay. And that's how hard each of them for those location. That's crazy. So how come PowerShell didn't do it? PowerShell should also have done this. It's one thing. Okay. The same thing here as well. The words. See, just one. That place. So you have to go to system control. System control set. So just control. Current control sets. Control. Actually, yeah.
Oh.
I'm changing each of those regular. I've done for this. I've done for this one. Done for this one. So that's why the partial to have done the work anyway, instead of doing everything locally like this.
Okay.
Yeah, partial to have done this work for me. So control, then security provider. Security provider. S channel. Protocols. So this protocol I don't have till it's 1.2. Strange. This protocol is also out till it's 1.2.
Mm.
7. So it's not even here at all. Protocol till it's 1.2. We create a document. New PBK is document. So how to create TLS. That's why it starts like this data on the first server. So we're not going to inside it. How to create. How to go inside and create a key called server. So inside this server now, that's when I need to create the D word. So you don't say disable by default. I should not even need it. Save by default 000. I need to create another one in the same place. I need to create another one client. So create key and call this client. And inside this client, I need to create the word enable. Enable it, change it to 1. That's crazy. So what shut down the server?
Oh no.
So all right, maybe we'll just pick it up from there later.
Yeah. When will I get the recordings?
You should get by maximum Tuesday.
Okay.
Maximum.